Okay, I thought I'd show you guys the big gun. Now, when you take your antenna down, mark the boom with some electrical tape. Okay, that way you know how it goes back together. Now, this is my 13 element VHF Cushcraft antenna. Okay, I thought I'd do this video on this little antenna here. It has 13 elements. You don't need an amplifier. You want a good antenna for a little DX. Get yourself the Cushcraft 13B. See, it has a nice little matchbox right there. There's your little gamma match, one on each side, so you can tune the SWR. A lot of guys that are buying those amplifiers really don't need it. If you like simplex operation or 2-meter sideband, this is the antenna. Okay? Now, Cushcraft, I believe, makes a 36 element. So if you got the R room, if you don't mind spending the extra bucks, grab that one. Okay? Now here's my little VHF antenna. This is my dual band antenna. Right there. You can see the 3 black coils on it. I believe that's made by Cushcraft. A lot of you don't know. Cushcraft, Ameritron, High Gain, all the same company. They just stamp a different name on their product, maybe redesign it and look a little different. Right now everything's in storage. I got to pull it out, hook it all back up. If you're going to get a beam antenna, you consider the Cushcraft, or is it High Gain, where it is, 3 or 4 element beam antenna, multiband, 10, 20, and 40. Those are okay. But you want to lay out a few bucks more, and if you're in an area that don't snow, maybe get the stepper IR antenna. Okay. Now the problem with some states where it snows, okay, ice builds up on the antenna and the towers. Those big log periodic beams you see. Well, because the ice built up, those towers snap from the weight of the ice. So, where it snows, stepper IR may not be a very good idea. But I normally use an inverted V calculated to the frequency. There's 2 ways of doing it. 468 for the total length of wire you need, or for each side of the element, 234 divided by the frequency, and that'll tell you the length of each side of that dipole has to be. Just confirm it in an inverted V. You adjust it into an inverted V, it comes out closer to the 50 ohm match. Alright, so these they work good. If you're gonna, in radio, you know, a lot of ham radio operators, they're just trying, do their best to ruin the quality of ham radio. Oh, it's a radio. No. Don't fall because it's a radio. Because someone they bought a little cheap off-brand radio, 2 meters, worth 40. Oh, they paid like 70 bucks, brand new for the radio. He hooked that up, and believe me, every single repeater down the road from him, he was hearing them, and he was not on that frequency. Nothing but Intermod. Stick with name brand radios like ICOM, Kenwood, and Yaesu. Forget the Bofang or the PowerWorks, you know, because you're just screwing yourself if you buy a cheap off-brand. Besides, where you get the parts for those little cheap radios, you may not find a shop to work on them, because they don't know where to get the parts. You may end up taking it to a CB radio repairman, getting them fixed, or a TV repairman. But, yeah, if you want to get a good antenna, you want to work VHF sideband, look hard into getting the Cushcraft 13B, 13 element beam antenna. It's a pretty long boom. And they got one that's twice the size. It's 36 elements. Longer the boom, the higher the gain. Okay? A lot of people don't understand that. You can get that one little antenna, I think it's a high gain, multi-band for HF. Got a short boom. Alright? If they spread those elements out a little bit more, and with a longer boom, the antenna will be a lot stronger. But don't listen to those guys out there. Oh, buy a Bofang, buy a PowerWorks. Nah, it's not good. You know? Now, it's hard. One antenna is a little hard to beat. A lot of people put it down. That's a J-pole. If you like building your own antennas, look up on the internet, the J-beam. You can take a J-pole and turn it into a 3-element beam. Now, if you can't find that info on how to make a J-beam, my call sign is kc6nfv@yahoo.com. Alright? This email that you would like to get the info on that, I'll send you the schematic picture I have to you to tell you the dimensions of that antenna. Now, a lot of these hams nowadays, they're kind of lazy. They don't do it like the old hams do. The old hams would build a quad antenna. Those antennas work good. I mean, you could be on a simplex. I mean, you'd be way far away from someone, and you'd hear them. This old 13-element beam here, it would pull in a weak signal very strong. I lived on a mountain one time. I pointed this baby towards Las Vegas, and I was able to get into Las Vegas with this antenna. So, yeah, the radio, if you want to get one of the radios that have HF, VHF, UHF, well, the radios you may want to get be the Kenwood 2000. Get the matching handy talkie, because you're going to want that. That way you can sit in your living room operating the transmitter and talk on HF. That's a very good feature. Now, ICOM has a nice one, but it's a lot of money. It's dual band. No, it's not that one. But they have a dual band. ICOM does. Very nice. 2-meter 440, but it's a high dollar radio. If you want to do some sideband. Stay away from, really, I have a ICOM D-Star radio. Well, that radio, the audio is really not that great. A few miles from the repeater, the signal breaks up. You ever watch a TV? The picture's really good, nice and clear. All of a sudden, the signal drops out. Signal strength shows 0. Yeah, that's the problem with digital signals. They're not steady. Sometimes they drop out. Okay, I guess maybe something with the solar flares or something. It messes them up. The solar flare does a real hard number on 40 meters. I mean, boy, you wouldn't believe the guys normally 30 over 9. They got a signal of 5. Okay. You can hear a lot of that action going on. 7240, the swap net. And like I say, you like to build antennas. If you want to build your own, you want a multi-band HF antenna for your mobile, check out my QRZ page. There's a picture of one. They had a PVC pipe the guy built. He had a plumber do some threading on it so he can wrap the silver wire around with 2 PVC slip caps on the end of it. So the antenna worked really good. I seen it work good. It was built by Jay. Shame it didn't take off. But Charlie and HiQ antenna, that's a very quality built antenna, very nice. I met Charlie, he's a nice guy. One of his customers' antenna fell off their car and got ran over by a big rig, the antenna, and Charlie repaired that for that guy. Instead of trying to say, well, you just got to buy a new one. No, Charlie repaired the antenna for the guy. And another nice antenna is the Scorpion. Oh yeah. Don't mess around with the Cushcraft, what do you call those? The Hustler junk. You know, oh, you change the coil, you got 10 meters, you got 20 meters, 40 meters. The mounting poles on those are weak. They don't really sell a good mounting bracket. They just flop over and fall off your vehicle. Plus that Cushcraft boom they mount the coils on, that's too floppy. Anyways, if you want to get a good antenna, check out the Cushcraft 13B, or get their 36 element made by Cushcraft. Or you're just going to do, you don't want to work a beam, get this antenna here with the 3 black coils on it. It's a dual bander. It works really good. I can't think of the model number right now. But Cushcraft, Ringo, Ranger antenna, Ameritron, Hy-Gain, all the same company. So don't let the name brand fool you, because you're buying it from the same guy. And unless you're a builder, you want to build yourself a quad, look it up on the internet for a quad calculator. Okay. And an example is for a regular quad, like for 40 meters, 80 meters, the math formula is 1005 divided by the frequency. But you're going to need 4 poles to hold it up, set when you get it there. So make sure they're strong poles. The antenna calculator will tell you the length of each of the reflector, the driven, and the driven. Okay? So you can build yourself a nice little 4-element VHF quad for your home. They look really nice. Shame we don't see them that many these days. Used to see them in HRO, but not anymore. Sad. The coronavirus has destroyed the business for ham radio outlet. You can't walk inside the stores no more. Ain't no more walking in the toilet aisle at the store and drooling all over the stuff you want to get. And this big old fat type coax like this, believe me, man, you can run that baby 120 foot long or longer. Put your 80 meter dipole far away from your house, because you want your antenna far away from the transmitter as possible anyways in your power supply, because it hits the power supply, it can trigger a crowbar effect. Okay, you want to read on it. the crowbar effect. You could read it in Gordon West's book. Okay, it might be in his tech book. There, I studied from novice, then I got my tech, now I got my general, and I'm not the no code general. I studied the novice back then, and the test back then was they graded you 2 different ways. You didn't have to have perfect copy. All you needed was 26 letters in a row perfect copy, and you would pass the test. Anyhow, this antenna, see how it's not shiny? You want to polish that baby up? You can buy one used. You're seeing a truck driver's big rig, and he got those aluminum tanks, and his rims are really polished out. Ask them what they're using, and polish your antennas with that stuff. It'll bring it out like brand new again. Okay? Anyhow, you guys take care. Stay away from the junk. Don't listen to the tightwads if you're planning to buy a radio. Okay, some of them, they got money, they just don't want to spend the money. Alright? They got a problem with it, you know. No wonder why some of their wives end up divorcing them, because they didn't want her have enjoyment, be free, do what she wants. Man got a wife, you give her anything she wants, if you love her. Sure, you know, you got to put other things ahead. Alright? Make sure your house payment's paid first. But if you live in another state, or you got a long tower, during the high winds you want to lower it down. Okay, so the winds don't snap the towers. You can buy a used tower really cheap.